what shall we find this weekend? We got 400 tables to dig through. We'll see if we can get through all of it. This video was made possible by Canadian Comics, the host of this 2-day Vancouver comic and toy show event. Visit CanadianComics.net for more information about this show, as well as Canadian Comics as a business in general. The link is in the description below. By now, we've done this more than a few times, but tell any collector to walk into a 45,000 square foot capacity forum filled with toys, comics, video games, and a slew of other collectibles, and you've pretty much sent that collector to their own personal slice of heaven. As mentioned in the past, this event has grown multiple times over in order to become a 400 table show spanning the days of both Saturday and Sunday. This event is held twice a year, once in the spring and once in the fall, and being here just has an atmosphere that I can't quite bring into words. But trust me, it's every bit as fun as it looks. The wall right here used to be covered, and the P&E forum where this event is held has a divider that normally segments the two sides of the building. But with this collectibles event having expanded so much over the last number of years, the divider is down so that we can use the entire floor space, thus allowing us to roam the entire 45,000 square foot capacity and use the forum to its fullest potential. Vendor setup occurs on the Friday night and carries over through the Saturday morning. That means loading up the car and hauling bins of stuff to the event. I asked my good friends Peter and Rick to help me out for this 3-table setup that I normally have at these shows. We took turns watching over the tables while roaming the floors to explore for more goodies to add into our personal collections. Now, I'll say that I'm more of a toy person more than a video game or comics person, so you'll see the photography here skews a bit more toy focused, but that's not to take away from the eclectic nature of what this show has to offer. Additionally, as with all shows that I travel to, the foot traffic you'll see here in this video will range between being very busy, but at times also not as busy, since those were the times that I specifically could not leave my booth until there were gaps where the rush had died down a little before taking some time away for videography and photography. Normally, I would spend the busier times at my tables. For me personally, it was great seeing so many vintage action figure playsets. We had some really great Star Wars items shown here, a good condition real Ghostbusters firehouse, and even the old Ninja Turtles sewer lair and Technodrome at this show. And there's also yet another complete Masters of the Universe Eternia playset here. Yes, the last one that was at this show eventually sold, and there happens to be yet another one right here. And talk about finding other holy grails, someone had a sealed AFA graded Masters of the Universe Fright Zone as well. There were some really cool G.I. Joe items, including the 12-inch ones from the 60s and 70s, as well as the boxed tactical battle platform. There was also the vintage 1979 recalled Kenner alien figure with a box, and an amazing Jurassic Park command compound set from the 1990s. Here's some great old school Mego items, and a Darth Vader helmet signed by James Earl Jones. Also saw some vintage Battlestar Galactica items, the giant HasLab Galactus figure, a life-size working R2-D2, and some great custom Ewoks by our friends over at Props and Stuff. I do know for a fact that I missed out on some really good cosplayers, which I wished I could have gotten some photos with, but again, that's a function of the limited time that I had to scour the floors between manning the booth and catching up with various friends that I saw at the show. There were also various artist tables and writer guests at the show. At this point though, one thing I'll do as usual is just pipe down for a moment and let the visuals do their thing. The sheer number of vendors here and the number of aisleways to just walk up and down meant that you could literally spend hours here just hunting. There were shoppers who would arrive near the start of the event and stay all the way to the end of the day, and there were many others who came for both days. And you really do need that much time to hunt. Even if you pass by each table, you're bound to find something on the second pass through, and the third, and fourth, and so on. It's really become the best place in the greater Vancouver region to find both the best vintage as well as the best of modern collectibles. And it also wasn't just an event for adult-aged collectors. Tons of families came through with their children, and it was a thrill to see the younger generation get into the same sorts of collector-based product that we ourselves enjoyed back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and so on. I will also put the disclaimer out there that I know I missed some stuff and some good tables in this video. There are various extended walkthroughs of the show, and I'm sure you can find them in the search bar on YouTube, as I did notice other videographers swing by and film the various tables that were here. Now, of course, what would an epic show like this be without a personal haul of sorts? So here's what I managed to find. Anyway, I took some mulling over, but I did find this complete vintage castle Grayskull from 1982, something that I wasn't sure if I was going to get, but I realized I couldn't pass it up. It was in great condition with all of its proper inserts, unbroken tabs that are simply hard to find, and yes, this Grayskull is something of a common piece, but in all my years I have very rarely found it in this good of a shape, and I couldn't leave it behind at the show. Now, as soon as I nabbed Castle Grayskull, I knew I had to grab the Point Dread and Talon Fighter from a different table. This, of course, is the natural add-on extension piece to the vintage castle, thus making the play and display experience feel more complete. It was definitely a Masters of the Universe type weekend for me, as I also got this vintage He-Man and Teela, both of which were complete and in good shape from the same place that I got Castle Grayskull. I also managed to nab this LJN WWF Wrestling Steel Cage accessory / semi playset from an experienced, knowledgeable vendor whom I enjoy shopping with. This will add to my ever so precious wrestling collection, and followers of this channel know that I never get tired talking about old school wrestling. This box is a bilingual one with both French and English on it, and it's neat as it has both the Grand Toys and LJN branded markings on it. A friend also dropped off this Mattel Creations exclusive Muhammad Ali 2-pack for me, which features one figure in his boxing gear, while the other is in his signature WrestleMania 1 special guest and Forza referee attire. Another fun purchase for sure. And as the show was closing, Canadian Comics offered me this piece of Mr. T memorabilia for a very good price. This is a foldable display featuring the Mr. T and the T-Force issue number 1 from 1993, which has both the limited edition gold foil logo signed by Mr. T himself, along with a certificate of authenticity. It also came with a standard edition comic, which will be great for reading purposes. This is a great cover done by Neil Adams, so I'm happy to add it to the collection. And while technically not something that I picked up at the show, I did get this vintage Generation 1 Transformer Cyclonus box with insert. I actually sent the e-transfer at the show to a friend of mine who wasn't there and whose house that I visited while I was on the way home from the show, as I had to drop off some of his goodies, and thus I picked this up on my way home, and now my G1 Cyclonus has a nice box to be displayed in. Overall, few toy hauls feel as special as this, and some of these items could deserve their own dedicated video. And it's all just fun to show it off here, since I know that many of you out there who have either attended this show or other similar ones can relate to the feeling of having a great toy haul that you can just look back at if you need something to bring a smile to your face. Of course, the plan at these shows as a vendor is to go in and sell things, and in my case, hopefully make a few dollars back for things that I've bought in the past, but that plan quickly goes out the window once I see this much amazing stuff, and I find myself being every bit as much a buyer as I am a vendor at times like these. Now, I'm not sure what else there is to add other than the fact that this is an event that I always look forward to, and it happens multiple times a year. The history of this event started back at a smaller venue back in 2014, and since 2016, I've made an effort to attend the show and eventually became a vendor at this event back in 2017 as it started to grow. It's been quite surreal to see it grow from less than 100 tables and expand gradually to become this 400 table collectible explosion that you see here today. This is the second time that they've run this show with 400 tables and as a 2-day event, and there seems to be no signs of slowing down. So even with this particular fall 2023 show being over, there will be years and years of future collector hunting excursions possible. So stay tuned, as the next event will be in April of 2024. Now, if you enjoyed this video, you can click on some other content, including my previous toy hunts of the past, right over here. Subscribe if you already haven't, press that like button to spread this video to more viewers, and share it with your friends. Otherwise, happy hunting folks, and I'll see you all next time. Take care.